Oh, hey, what's up, you guys? How's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my YCS ready Eldlich deck that I didn't get to take to YCS Pasadena because we all know. But I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what I was going to play anyway. I had a lot of success with this deck. There's a few tweaks that I did make, and I'll go over that when I do get into the certain card. This is going to be a very in-depth profile. Maybe not super in-depth, but you know, it's going to be a little bit longer than my usual decks. I know I've profiled this quite a few times on the channel already, but this was what I wanted to take to the YCS. This was the list I was confident with, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the list. So starting off with the main deck, we played 2 copies of Eldlich the Golden Lord. This shouldn't come as a surprise. You never need 3 of this. Maybe if you were playing like pure zombies, but you only ever need 2 of this. 2 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So I was debating on 2 or 3 of this card, mainly because I was scared that I wasn't going to be seeing enough monsters in the deck by only playing 4. After seeing Trift's list, after seeing a lot of other people's lists, I've seen a lot of people just play this card at 2, and I can see why. I did not ever brick on this. There was only, I think, like 1 time since I've been playing this ratio where I've drawn this and a Lord, but, well, I guess they're both called Lord, but there's only been a couple times where I have drawn Lord Eldlich, or like multiple monsters, but it rarely ever happens, and I think when it did happen, it did cost me a game. But other than that, I think this was like a really good lineup. I didn't feel comfortable playing borders since a lot of decks are on infinite permanence. Droplets and like Dark Ruler No More, Chalice, just all these cards that would just negate that card anyway. And I mean, sure, it's a 1-for-1 if it was to target the border, but they can't respond to this since it's still in the hand, and like you can resolve this as long as possible. Unless you have Sanguine, then you kind of have to just trigger this as soon as you can, because if you do the Sanguine before you do the Lord, then this doesn't get to trigger and it just stays in your hand, and that's not what we're trying to have. So I definitely think maxing out on the Lord is just a little too excessive. Playing it at 2 was just fine. For the monsters, that's it. For the spells, we were on triple copies of Pot of Prosperity. I did want to make sure that instead of drawing 2 off of Extravagance, maybe I should just show this first. We did play 2 Duality. So, and ideally this deck wanted to dig. This deck wanted to dig for your Solemn Judgment, your Dogmatic of Punishment, basically cards that could get you out of niche situations that would lose you the game. So being able to dig 9 cards deep with the Prosperity and the Duality to get you to that Judgment, get you to that Strike, something that's going to win you the game. Imperial Order, Skill Drain, basically all these cards that just shut off your opponent is ideal. And I was very happy playing this. Jesus got me onto the Pot of Dualities on Friday, so maybe I wasn't going to play this for the YCS, but I was originally going to play Extravagance. The problem I had with playing Extravagance was that I was always banishing the extra deck cards that I could actually make to go for game. So when that would happen, I would actually just end up losing because I wouldn't have enough resources to survive after. So I definitely think playing the dualities are nice. You could play Extravagance if you want, but I really do like the idea of the 3 pots with the 2 duality, just so that way you can dig into what you need. That's it for the spells. Just 5 spells, 4 monsters. The rest is traps. I know it's a little heavy. We're playing 31 traps in the main deck, but they all serve different purposes. So I know in the past you've seen me on one of this, but I decided to play 2 trap tricks for the YCS and for this weekend, or this past weekend. I did feel like this was correct. I do kind of regret not playing this Saturday. After talking to Karan about it, he was saying not to play this card, but I did miss it a lot. There was a lot of instances where I did miss this card, where this card could have saved me, and it just wasn't correct not playing this card. I definitely do stand by this card. Sure, it shuts you off by playing more traps after you resolve this, being able to only activate 1, but this card can get you to exactly what you need to be able to survive. So this card was ideal. I definitely want to play it going forward. 2 trap trick just ends up becoming like the 2D barrier, which was really good against Sword Soul, really good against Bird, Fusion Destiny decks, Invoked, like you name it, this card was really good. I would never play 3 of it though, because there are decks like Sky Striker, other random decks like Ignister, which I did play against. This card's kind of whatever against like Rogue, but like against the meta, this card's insane. So I definitely think playing it in the main deck was the correct call. 3 Punishment, and I guess I'll show this now too. The 3 IDP. This was debatable. Since when you see the extra deck, that'll really tell you like why I didn't really like 3 Punishment. Just because like I didn't play a whole lot of targets for Punishment as I'm used to doing. I felt like maxing out on the IDP was correct though. Being able to just target a worm, this kills Sword Soul. This is really good with getting rid of like the birds too. IDP was really insane. I really did like this card a lot. I definitely feel like it's correct at 3. Punishment at 3 is probably debatable with the extra deck lineup that I have, which I'll show you here in just a moment. But I think going forward, I would play 2 Punishment and then 3 IDP still. But I don't know what I would cut for the third, or in place for the 3rd Punishment. I might play like a 3rd Floodgate, or I might just play like a Call by the Grave. It really just depends. The last normal trap I played for Trap Trick was Torrential. I felt like this card has to be in every Eldlich deck, every trap deck. Torrential just blows out so many matchups, so it's weird not to play it. Solemns. I did play 3 Judgment in the main still. I just don't think there's better cards to replace this in the main deck. 3 Strike shouldn't come as a surprise. This is literally the best trap in the deck. Don't really know like how it wouldn't be. I mean, Judgment is really good, don't get me wrong, but when you have this Torrential going second, your opponent kind of just loses. This Sanguine, this and like Ice Dragon's Prison, like basically if you see Strike with any other card, you're gonna probably be winning that matchup. If you see like too many Solemns though, if you see like double Strike, double Judgment, which I did have once during this weekend, you're gonna lose because you just don't have life points. But other than that, you have to play the 6 Solemns. I felt like this was really correct, and it definitely got me there when I saw him. 3 copies of Sanguine. No surprise, this is literally the best Eldlich card. Debatably, the second best Eldlich card is Conch, and then double Hakuero. So, Conch was really good, don't get me wrong. I kind of wish that I did play the 3rd Hakuero, though. With all the Fusion Destiny decks that I played against, and then all of the bird decks as well, this card was really broken. I think going forward, I might try to fit room for a 3rd Hakuero just because of how powerful this card is. But that's going to round up the Eldlich lineup. For the last traps, I do play Floodgates. So I think going forward, I might try to play a 3rd Gozen match in replace of the 3rd Punishment. But Gozen match over TC Boo, because TC Boo locks you out of summoning multiple zombies, like not being able to resolve your Conch Eldlich, your Sanguine and Conch, your Sanguine Hakuero. Like just being able to not resolve those is really bad. So I felt Gozen was just better since everything's light except for the Lord, which is kind of why I felt Border would be better because it is a light, but I didn't even miss it. So worst comes to worst, you resolve the Lord, set your Sanguine during your opponent's turn. When it comes back to you, you just flip the Sanguine, just attack for damage, and like you can get rid of the Gozen if you need to off the board. There's just a lot of like good things that Gozen does. This with Strike just clears the Sword Soul board. It's really good. Skill Drain and IO shouldn't really come as a surprise. These are literally the best Floodgates in the deck, and I would not play this deck without those cards. 40 card main deck. I don't know what else I would really change. I think definitely getting rid of the 3rd Punishment is correct. The 2nd Trap Trick is debatable now that we are just going to be going back to locals up until COVID basically gets its shit together. But until then, we're just going to be experimenting new things going forward. For the extra deck, it's definitely different from my last list. A lot of it did come from Triff's list that he posted. I did take a lot of inspiration from there. But for the extra deck, we do play 2 Entis. I think he was only playing 1, but I decided to play 2 just because if you're going second against like the Invoke deck and they Maximus you could just send double of this, or you could send like this and Wind Pegasus, or even the Omega. Basically, these are like my only real targets for punishment. So only playing 4 targets, I didn't think that playing 3 punishment was necessary. Because you can always trap trick the other one if you need to see it that bad. But these were all that I really needed. Wind Pegasus is still broken for shuffling back the Shadal cards, since most of them, or not the Shadal cards, for shuffling back Winda, so that way it doesn't get the Schism back or it doesn't get the Shadal Fusion back. I do really like that interaction a lot. But everything else was just self-explanatory. Entis being able to pop, Omega being able to shuffle back Enforcers. Busted. For Xyz, we do still play Pallades, we do still play Gustav Max, still play the Lead, and still play the Zeus. I kid you not, I think I summoned Zeus once, and I think I summoned Pallades once. I mean, obviously I had to summon these once each to make the Zeus, but all of these cards just did not matter. Pallades being the best one of them all, I want to say. Like, of course Zeus is great, but just, it never really came up to where I needed the Xyz. So, that's kind of that. The links, it is a little bit heavier than usual. We do play 1 Imduk and 1 Link Spider. So the reasoning behind the Imduk is because you play the Wind Charmer, basically for when you go second against Sword Soul and you clear their board on their turn, or their follow-up turn, if they don't have Blackout, then you get rid of the Barone, you get rid of the Chow Chow, and you make the Wind Charmer as what the Light Charmer. You make this with the Eldlich and like a trap, and you basically bring back the Xiao Xiao, you bring back the Barone, and then you just link into your Phoenix, your Cerberus, clear more problems out of the way, and then you just link into the Access Code Talker, and then that's like 3 additional pops depending on which route you go. So that was a really cool idea that Triff came up with. That is not my idea. I do like that interaction though. Did it come up? No. But if it does ever come up, you have it. And I think that's busted. So, 15 card extra deck. Definitely like the Link idea a lot. I definitely think I'll keep it going forward because I never missed having any additional punishment targets. For the side deck, a little bit different than usual. We only played 3 Lava Golem. I'm not playing Border. I'm not playing Pankratops, anything. The only monster I played was Lava Golem. It was all I needed. This is really good against Sword Soul, really good against birds, being able to clear the Draco, being able to clear the Apex Avian. Lava Golem was really busted all weekend. For traps, I didn't play any spells. Again, I only wanted to see consistency spells. When you go second against any other deck and you have spells in your deck, they're most likely going to be negated. I guess the same could be said with your trap cards, but it really just depends on the end board. But you really just wanted to see consistency. The traps will do all the work for you. So I did play 3 evenly match. Card was busted all weekend. This is probably the best card in the side deck that's not Lava Golem. 2 Witch's Strike. This is really cool interaction to where you activate like a trap card. Your opponent goes Barone to negate. You chain Trap Trick and you set the Witch's Strike. And then on resolution, you activate the Witch's Strike and just blow up the entire board and everything in their hand. So it was a really cool thing. I resolved it once. I don't have it on camera though, so that kind of sucks. But I did resolve this once, and I don't know if I would play it going forward, but it was a really cool interaction, and I'm glad I got to resolve it. 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance. I kind of wish I played 3, but I did play against a lot of Striker this weekend, so I kind of wish I had 3 of it just to, you know, make that matchup a little bit better, but it is what it is. 2 Summon Limit. This could be in the main deck if you're comfortable with doing that. I'm not comfortable with playing this in the main deck because this card is just awful going second. At least when you do Gozen match, it does break the board when it goes back to their turn. But if they have Blackout, it actually just doesn't matter. But Summon Limit is really good against the bird deck, really good against Sword Soul. Striker had its instances. What else? I'm trying to think of everything I played this weekend. I played a lot of different decks. I'm so tired of Yu-Gi-Oh! After this weekend. I just really want the new ban list to come out. But Summon Limit was really good when I did resolve. So another MVP was a Pointer of the Red Lotus. This card was really busted, being able to hit Evenly Match, being able to hit Lightning Storm. I kind of want to play this at 3, but there's just not enough room. And then the last trap I played was Red Reboot, mainly for when you go first and you set up your board, your opponent goes standby main. This is basically just for evenly matched. Evenly matched, Judgment, Strike in some instances. You mainly just want this for evenly matched though. You could play Lancia, that's probably smarter, but I just played the Reboot because I only had 1 spot left in the extra deck. And yeah, that's really it. It's also busted in the mirror. So that's the deck. I did like this deck a whole lot. I just am a little tired of this format. I'm tired of IO being a card. I'm tired of Proto, so I'm ready to play something else. I kind of want to go back to playing PK, but with Protos in the format, it's not going to happen. But that is my deck list that I was going to take for the YCS. Let me know what you thought of it, what you think that I can change for the deck. But yeah, guys, until next time, this has been Papa, and we'll catch you all in my next video. Take care, everyone.